I'm pretty sure you know why you're here, but just in case you stumbled across this video by accident, today I'm going to be making a 30-ton hydraulic forging press. So this is what's called an H-frame press, and mine is modeled off of Dennis Tyrell's press at Tyrell Knife Works. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel so you could check him out, but since this one was designed around the hydraulic cylinder itself, I decided to start off by making the pivot pin blocks or the pivot pin receivers. And what they are is just a 1/2-inch base plate with 2 vertical sections, one on each side of the cylinder where the pin will slide through. And these vertical sections will be made from 2 1/2-inch plates welded together to equal a 1-inch thickness. First I cut the base plates, and then I went ahead and cut the 8 individual pieces that'll make up the vertical sections. Then I'm going to square up the parts on the disc sander and drill a 1/4-inch pilot hole for the 1.5-inch hole saw. And there was 8 of these holes, which took about 15 to 20 minutes each to cut, and I think I had the drill press running about 300 RPM or so. I wanted a set of keepers on the pivot pin blocks, so before I welded everything together, I drilled and tapped a 1/4-20 hole on the 4 outside plates. And I just used the drill press to make sure the tap started square. Here I'm milling the surfaces flat that'll mate with the base plate, and I did the top 4 together and then the bottom 4 together. That way all the parts will be true to each other and the pin will be perfectly parallel to the base plates. And then I'm going to put a bevel all the way around the inside edges before welding. That way I get good penetration. Now I need to lay out where the 4 1/2-inch holes are going to go that lets me bolt the bottom pivot pin block to the frame. I'm just checking to make sure a wrench will have enough clearance before making a permanent hole. And then I need to cut out the bottom cross member because I want to drill it and the base plate at the same time. And this will get cut into 3 pieces for the top and bottom cross members and for the head or the traveling block. I'm going to weld the nuts to the cross member now because later I'm going to box it all in with 1/4-inch plate and I won't be able to get to them. These gussets are a 1/4 inch thick, and I added them to both sides of the cross members and to the head to help mitigate flexing. While I wait for the welds to cool, I'm gonna go ahead and make the pin keepers. I just gotta drill some holes, cut them down, and clean them up on the grinder. Now I need to start working on the head, so I'm gonna cut this 2x3 1/4 inch angle down into 4 6-inch pieces for what I call the guide rails. Then I'm gonna square them up and drill 1/8 inch pilot holes. This is 6-inch H-beam, 10 foot in length, so it's kind of awkward, but I'm cutting it in half to make the left and right uprights of the frame. And with this little 4-inch angle grinder, it doesn't reach all the way through, so I gotta use the old hacksaw. I got a piece of 6-inch channel for the feet that I'm gonna cut in half now to help with the mock-up of the frame because my garage floor is kind of uneven in spots. I'm gonna box the head in with 1/4 inch plate front and back, but first I need to drill the holes and weld the nuts to the back to attach the guide rails. So I used the pilot holes that was in the guide rails and a 1/8 inch bit in my cordless to mark the plates where they needed to be drilled at. this is the final mock-up, so I'm gonna go around, really take my time and make sure that everything is flush and square. Make sure that the head is centered, that it doesn't bind up in any way and it slides freely, and then I'm gonna tack weld it really well. After I tacked the frame together, I checked the head again to make sure it was still good, and then I went ahead and welded the plates in. I spent 2 days welding this frame together because I didn't want to put too much heat into it too fast and cause it to twist or warp. So I bounced around a lot to dissipate the heat, and I gave it a lot of time in between to cool off. But I'm not going to make you guys sit through that. Instead, I just condensed it down into a little welding montage. So this is where I boxed the cross members in with 1/4-inch plate, and I made sure to fit the plate inside of the H-beams in order to add some extra strength. Now I got to get the cylinder bolted in the frame and make sure it's centered so I could weld the top pivot pin receiver to the head. That's it. I can't stand the grit under my feet anymore, so I think this is a good stopping point. I need to clean up some of my mess, and this video is getting kind of long anyway, but thank you for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'm going to try to get this build wrapped up in the next video, so be on the lookout for part 2.